I'm Dr. B, and I make medical education videos. Today's video is on locus of control. This is one of my favorite subjects and something I find fascinating. Hopefully you will too. In today's video, I will define what locus of control is. I will teach you the two types of control known as internal and external locus of control, and the different types of people known as internals and externals, and teach you why being an internal is probably more desirable. Then stay till the end to take a fun test and learn which you are. Julian Rotter first defined locus of control in 1966. He defined it as a person's perception of his or her control over events and outcomes in their environment. Or in other words, locus of control is a person's individual belief in whether what they do, say, and how they act will determine what happens to them in their world. To understand this further, let's return to the two types of control I listed earlier, internals and externals. For example, do you truly believe that you will succeed if only you work hard enough? If so, you're an internal, and we would say you have a high internal locus of control because you believe things that happen to you are greatly influenced by your own decisions, abilities, actions, or mistakes. In contrast, if you feel circumstances outside your control derail your plans and always prevent you from being successful, then you are an external. And we would say you have a high external locus of control, meaning you believe your success or failure is due to factors outside of what you can control. Fate, destiny, divine intervention all weigh in heavier than your own actions, including random chance, environmental factors, or actions of others. All of these are more responsible for the events that occur in your life than you. A strong internal locus of control or a strong external locus of control are the extremes. Most people lie along a continuum between the two poles, and both have internal-external tendencies. In addition, the locus of control is really not fixed in stone. Individuals will vary in their locus of control, depending on the situations, moods, and environments, including age and maturity. But many individuals on average tend toward either internal or external control. Let's look at two students taking a standardized test like the SAT or the ACT, and they both get a poor score. Let's evaluate their response to their experience and understand real-world internals versus externals. So the first student's assessment of their experience is the following. The test was very hard. The questions weren't fair, the room was too hot, and I couldn't concentrate. This is a classic external locus of control. All the factors are outside the student control, and there is no individual accountability. Now on the flip side, let's look at the second student, again with the equally poor test score. Same test, same room. Now this student's response is the following. The test was really hard, but I should have studied. I didn't study enough. I don't know if the questions were fair, because honestly, I didn't look at what I was supposed to before the test. The room was hot and uncomfortable, but I wore a sweatshirt with no shirt underneath, or planning on my part, I won't do that again. So same test, same poor score, same room, but markedly different experiences. And more importantly, what are the long-term consequences of this thought process? Student number one, if he takes the test again, won't study because he knows it's rigged against him, and he has no control. And if the room is hot or cold, he won't be prepared. Now, contrast this with the second student who learned from her mistake. First, she will not have near the same reservation to take the test again, and if she does, she'll study for it. And she'll look ahead of time to see what kind of questions will be on the test. And she's very likely to dress appropriately, so if it's hot or cold, she'll be ready. Now let's shift and look at the locus of control in the workplace. Let's compare and contrast two individuals that lost out on a promotion after giving a similar presentation to apply for the same position. Someone with an internal locus of control will acknowledge they didn't have very polished speaking or presentation skills, they didn't practice their PowerPoint adequately, and most importantly, they really didn't network well enough prior to the presentation with the administration so people knew who they were. They thought they were the favorite and didn't prepare adequately. Now, if and when, which is likely that they apply again, their approach will be significantly modified. Now contrast that with their cubicle mate, someone with an external locus of control. After being denied the same promotion, will blame office politics, be convinced that the boss doesn't like them, and convinced that their higher ups just don't appreciate them, don't understand their skills, They will be convinced nothing they can do will change this, and they are very unlikely to apply again for the promotion and often will just choose to pursue a different job in a different company. So the take-home message is, if you believe that you hold the keys to your own fate, you are much more likely to take action to change your situation when it's needed. If, on the other hand, you believe that the outcome is out of your hands, you will be much less likely to work toward change. So your locus of control, also known as your sense of agency, can have a major impact on your life, from how you cope with stress and especially how you're motivated and your ability to take charge of your life. Does being an internal or an external really matter? Is this important? Well, research studies have found that people with a more internal locus of control seem to be better off overall, both interpersonally, occupationally, and health-wise. For example, they tend to be more achievement-oriented and they get better paying jobs and switch jobs less frequently. Those with a high internal locus of control typically experience more career success, better health, less anxiety, lower stress. On average, they're less obese and they have higher self-esteem, as well as lower rates of clinical depression. So, yes, locus of control does matter. Locus of control is often viewed as an inborn personality component. However, there is also evidence that it is shaped by childhood experiences, including children's interactions with their parents. Children who are raised by parents who encourage their independence and help them to learn the connection between actions and their consequences tended to have a much more well-developed internal locus of control. There is also evidence and techniques to help you develop more of an internal locus of control, but that's a subject for another day. Thanks for watching, and if you want to rate yourself to see where you lie on the internal-external locus of control spectrum, see the link in the comments below. This is courtesy of the University of Virginia, and it's a fun test to score yourself. If you'd like to see more educational videos, watch this one on psychosis and this one on dissociative identity disorder. And please don't forget to hit subscribe.